Welcome to Functionally Speaking, the podcast where two clinicians share one brain cell and way too many opinions.
I'm Laura, your mineral-obsessed dietitian who gets fired up about gut health, metabolism, and fertility, with enough sass to keep it interesting and enough nuance to keep it real.
And I'm Danielle, a physician assistant obsessed with gut health, hormones, and calling out bullshit.
We're here for the nuance, the hot takes, the facts your certification skipped over, and the occasional spiral into chaos.
If you're a health coach, practitioner, or clinician who's slightly functional, just like our mitochondria in our recording process, you're in the right place.
We're not here to sugarcoat the science or pretend there's one right way to do this work. We're doing it our way, unfiltered, slightly feral, and always with love for the humans we serve. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to Functionally Speaking, the clinical pod that spirals responsibly. We are back.
At least we're trying anyway.
Listen, the brain cell is brain celling and the bond is like
broken, not working today.
It's fuzzy. Maybe
we need tech support.
Is one of us under the mountain? Isn't that
me? It's me. Yes. If you don't know what we're talking about, if you're not in the Mossaverse with Akatar and Throne of Glass and that whole shebang.
Did you see the train of dogs just walk by? Like what?
No, I didn't. I can't see.
Hi, buddy.
No, it's because it stays on your face.
Oh, does it? Hi, buddy.
Yeah, I can't see anybody. All right, so what are we talking about today?
We're talking about dogs. We're not.
No, we're going to talk about what not to do in your business.
Yeah.
As two business owners who have done a lot of things that you shouldn't do, we just wanted to share a little bit of insight into either things that we've made mistakes, because that's part of it. And honestly, I don't think that anyone won't make mistakes in a business, but at least if you can learn from ours, you start at a better starting point. Or things that maybe we haven't done, but we don't do them for a reason.
Or we've seen other people do. And we're like, sir or ma'am, probably ma'am. Just 'cause...
Yeah, but we're just around a lot of women.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sure there's things that men are doing wrong. They're missing a lot on that arm of the Y chromosome. So, sorry to any men who are listening.
I'm surrounded by them.
It's fine. Surrounded by
whole
wings.
House.
It's fine.
Yes, literally. That's right.
Okay. First things first, what not to do in your business. The first thing that I wrote down was to say, don't say yes when your body is telling you no. And if anybody is an experienced business owner out there, you know what I'm talking about. Like taking that client, doing that thing, saying yes to the thing that you don't want to do. You're gonna regret it later.
Yeah. And I think especially in the beginning or maybe when you're in transition, it's hard to say no sometimes because you're like, I just want this to work out so well. And also saying no opens the door for more yeses. And I know that's so cliche, but it is so true. Anytime that I've said no and I'm like, oh God, is the next opportunity going to come? It always does. And then I'm presented with someone who I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited to work with them. Or, oh my God, this just feels better. And that might be, like you said, for the client. It could be for, a package that you're creating. It could be a form that you're sending or whatever it might be. But you will know.
People for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it has to be when it's your business, you have to feel aligned with it, because when you don't, it's just going to create more stress and anxiety.
Yeah. And like I said, this can be anything from the clients you decide to take on, or, if the people who are working for you, if how you're paying people, literally anything. If it feels off to you, you have to change it. It's going to eat you alive, in my opinion.
It really will. And offering some grace, it will happen. And so when it does happen, it's good to reflect on it and remember that for the next time that happens. Because I think both of us have taken, for example, clients in the past who were we felt some kind of red flags and we're like, oh, but I could help them, right? On paper, you might be able to help them, right? But you, the vibe. When you get on a call with someone, I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty intuitive. I feel like you're pretty intuitive.
Yeah.
I can kind of tell if someone's BSing me or if someone's going to be a problem client, which is hard because you're saying no to money, but it's not good money if you're not going to get results and you're going to be unhappy and they're going to be unhappy.
I just finished with a client who like said I said 12 times on the consult call, I don't do weight loss, but every time we met, it was like a weight focused conversation. And I was like, and I would say, like, I understand that this is frustrating to you. This is not what I focus on. And we've talked about this. And then she left me some choice comments at the end of like, cause I send out feedback forms and I've never had anyone write a negative like experience. I'm sure maybe some people, what I'm sure there's been like, what people who have thought whatever things. I've worked with hundreds of people at this point, but most of them are pretty great. And then it was more weight focused stuff in the comments, and I was like, I tried. Like, I tried 12 times in that consult call. This is not what I do. If this is what you were focused on, I'm not the right person for you. Like, I gave that opportunity. So sometimes you do, and that my point is like sometimes you do all of the right things, and it still works out in a weird way. And so I think just to your point, like giving yourself grace with that, like I literally looked back at that and I was like, I could have done nothing different for her. Sometimes people hear what they want to hear, which is, it just is.
And honestly, there have been times where I have said yes to someone who I wasn't fully like sold on, and they turned out to be a great client.
Same.
So, but I think there are some major red flags, and that's going to depend on your business and who you want
Yeah.
to take, right? Like if that person is coming to you and saying like I only want weight loss, and you say I don't do weight loss, like okay, I want to work with you anyway, and that like they don't have any, you don't dig it deeper into anything else that they want to work on, then yeah, probably a huge red flag. I had a client or a not a client, a potential sales call earlier this week, and the woman said she had worked with like multiple dietitians in the past with no success. And while sure, I dug a little bit deeper into what those dietitians did, it also to me was a red flag. It wasn't like it didn't feel right to me. And I think there would be a scenario where it would feel right because it might just be she was working with the wrong dietitians or a wrong season of life or whatever it might be. But to me, it just in my bones, I was like, I don't feel like I can help her because I don't think she's ready to take the information and the education that I'm going to offer. And I'm always going to have in the back of my head, is she going to look for another dietitian? And that to me
Yeah.
doesn't feel good. I don't feel like I'm going to show up.
The practitioner hopping.
Yeah, and I think once again, it's one thing like I've had clients come to me who they went to multiple dietitians through like their doctor's office and they got one-off sessions and they were pretty
Different.
generic, right? But if you're coming to me from another or couple functional dietitians and no success was gained, it starts having me question, did you not trust the practitioner? Did you not fully
Yeah.
implement what they were asking you? And I don't want to put myself in that position to be frustrated and
Yeah.
or like not help, right? Like I'm in the business of helping people and that doesn't feel good to me. Doesn't mean I couldn't, it may have worked out, but it was like an immediate no. I heard some things and I was like, in my bones,
Mm.
I feel like I will always
No.
question our entire relationship together, and that's not fair to me or to her.
Yeah, like the client who their root cause is they can just continue to chase a root cause,
Yeah.
and they like don't, and they don't fully commit to like any process, right? Like there's a lot of red flag. I mean, we could probably do a whole episode on like client red flags, but like yeah, definitely the practitioner hopping. It just makes my spidey senses go up. It doesn't mean that it's necessary. Sometimes people work with people who are a scam too, and they just really don't know what they're doing. So, switching gears from other things that you shouldn't do in your business, unless you have I don't want to
No,
like
no, no. I think we hammered that
hammer
one
that
home.
point too
Yeah,
hard. Yeah. My biggest pet peeve.
it is. I can vouch for this.
My God.
She
For
will
the
lose
love
sleep
of
over
God,
this.
people. I if I am trying to do something in your business and I message you about like whatever, if you message me back and say, "Give me some days and times that work for you," I'm going to whip your hair off and like shove it up your ass. Like there is nothing that grinds my gears more than having to send 15 messages back and forth with grown adults who have other things to do when you could just say, "Here's a scheduling link." Please don't make it difficult for people to schedule with you and or give you money.
Yes, correct.
The end.
And
I don't
Calendly is a pretty easy app.
free.
If you use an EHR, you can do it through your EHR, which links to your Google Calendar. Just make sure it's truly linked because I've had issues before. But yes, like it's such a simple thing. And then you don't have to
Oh,
like it's so hard. Like I don't know about everyone else, but like I feel like even us trying to schedule a call is impossible.
Ugh.
And so like everyone's schedules are so all over the place. People live in different time zones, and so it's so much easier. And then if they look on their schedule and say, "Hey, I don't have anything available," obviously you can help them, but like it should be pretty simple and like it's
Yeah.
less work for you too.
Please.
Like it just eliminates the need for so many different back and forths.
Oh, so many things. I don't know why that it grinds my gears so hard. I was trying to get a wax. It was
She was
it
so
was a
mad.
whole
Can
experience.
confirm she was so
I
mad.
was I was so mad. And then she's like, "Here's my service menu," and sends me a PDF. Doesn't even have a website. Yeah, it's 2025. Like I would say have a basic website, have a scheduling link. Like
Yes.
I mean, you can do it cheap too
Yes.
because someone was like, "Oh, she's trying to get the most out of her business." Okay, I get it. Like I'm all for people trying to not overspend and not overpurchase and like run lean on their business budget, especially if you're starting out, but there are so many tools out there for free or low cost that you can use that it's just not an excuse for me. Like, no, get a link,
Yeah.
put it in your bio. Like, and the other, I have one more link related thing that I just have to put out there. When people put the like physical link and not a link that I can click on, like people don't want to copy links in 2025.
No, we want,
I
no,
don't. Is it just me?
no. The easier you can make it, the less likely you'll rub up against,
Friction.
objections. Yeah. Because then they know what it's like to work with you too. So, and I think this kind of
Yes.
another branch of this is setting boundaries with your clients. So, a don't is to just, let your client dictate everything. Setting boundaries
Yes.
on how many sessions they're offered, how long the session is going to be, what the expectations are outside of sessions, all of that really matters. And so I think that kind of plays into the scheduling. Like if you start from the get-go of this is how to communicate with me, this is how to schedule with me, this is how to do X, Y, and Z with me, I think it creates more boundaries and less friction between you and your client because things are just automated and also like they're not taking advantage of your time and you're not feeling taken advantage of. And usually when you set those expectations, like sometimes I'll be like chatting with a client, they're like, "Oh, our hour is up or our half hour is up or whatever," and like they're keeping you accountable because they have the expectations from the get-go. So
Yeah.
not having expectations is a big
Yeah.
don't. Not having boundaries is a big don't. Danielle has always been good about it. I was not good about it for a very long time.
Yeah. I mean, there are times where like I've had 30-minute sessions go 45 and it's been like really necessary. Like there are times when it happens. It's rare for me. And I always say like clear is kind. That's a Brene Brown saying. But I tell people in consult calls when they're signing on, like, listen, you can send me as many messages as you want throughout the week. I do not look at them until Tuesday. Like it's not going to happen. Like I have really good boundaries with that. This is how many sessions you have. And I think for me too when I went to a time-based package, people understood like, "Oh, our time is up" versus session-based. I would never ever ever personally do a session-based package. I would 100% make a time-based because people were finding, "Oh, I get so many less reschedules now," and I think that it's I've raised my prices and other things like that.
Can you clarify that for people who are like, what do you mean between session and time based?
Yeah. So like my packages now, like I'm actually going to just a 6 month package. So people get 6 months with me. And when their 6 month is up, like I don't care if you only used one session, like
Same.
my legal agreements say up to X amount of sessions. So like if you don't use them, that's your fault. Even though I'm scheduling at the end of sessions, like, "Hey, let's reschedule this and that." I have a business manager that you can reach out to. You can reschedule on your own, whatever. So if you don't use those sessions, it's kind of on you. Versus before I was like, "Oh, you get 3 sessions for X amount of money." It has an expiration date, but people were like totally not respecting that expiration date, even though it was so outrageous. Like I was giving people 9 months to use 3 appointments and they were like hanging on to these appointments forever. And I'm like, I have no idea what's even going on for you. And that's frustrating for the clinician. It's frustrating for the client because like they're not going to see the progress if they're not talking, communicating with you and
Like, what's the
seeing
point?
you on a regular basis. Yeah, like what's the fucking point? So even though it had an expiration, the fact that like it was a 3 session package versus a 6 month package, people are so much more respectful and you know, it doesn't always end up perfect. Like usually people are getting like an extra week or two on like the front and back end for scheduling and whatever. So I'm not like Adolf Hitler over here about it, but like people are I'm no, like if you're not using your sessions, like that's not my problem. I do everything possible. Like even if I see somebody canceled and they haven't rescheduled, like Jess is reaching out to them. So like I do my part for that too, where like you're an adult and we need to do adult things. And honestly, since I've gone to that 6 month package, I think I've had maybe one or two people who, and maybe not even that. I think just like one instance where people have like wanted an extension. That's it.
But I think setting those like not setting the boundaries is where you get in trouble because if you set it from the get-go, people have that expectation and
Yeah.
then they're the ones like almost keeping you accountable because they know. They're like, "Oh, I know that my 6 months is up. Like how do I like I feel
Yes.
like I most of my clients now ask me. They're like, "What do I do? Like
Same.
it's a 6 month, what do I do?" And I'm like,
Yeah, like our time's coming to an end. Like, do we keep working together? What do we
yeah.
do? Or like when I go to schedule that last session, they're like, "Oh, well, like when is our time up?" Like they're so
Yeah.
respectful of that. So, and I think you have other things to say about
No.
this because I was going to
No,
segue.
I was going to
You're
segue
good.
too. You go.
Okay.
I was like, "Okay, speaking of this."
I'm going to go a little bit of a different direction. So if it's like somewhat related, you go first.
I was going to talk about pricing and expectations with
Uh,
that.
that's that's more related than mine. So
Okay.
you go first.
Okay. Okay, well, I don't even know how to say this as a don't, but like, don't price out of fear that people won't buy, but also don't price outside of your capacity, like education, experience, and ability, right? So,
Like we're not doing neurosurgery for people, so don't charge neuro fucking surgery
yes,
prices.
yes, but also
Yeah.
don't undercharge just because you feel like nobody will purchase. Because I
Yeah.
promise you, every time both of us have increased our prices, we have gotten better qualified clients. And it's usually because they're more committed, right? Like when price is a little out of someone's comfort zone, they typically like it scares them a little bit, but in a
Yeah.
good way because it kind of motivates them as saying, like, okay, if I'm willing to spend this money, it means that this is worth it to me. And so I think it's not pricing out of fear and also not pricing out of, that's the word I'm looking for, not pride, but like, I don't know, like really
Gluttony almost.
yeah, yeah, something like that. But like really charging your worth and thinking about what that looks like, right? So like there's multiple ways that you can figure out pricing. Have we talked about pricing on this podcast? I can't remember.
We talked about like should you show your prices, but
Okay.
not like how you
Yeah, so I mean, like, this is
figure
like a
out pricing.
whole discussion, right? And like, I'm not a business coach, not a financial advisor, but like thinking of just like, how much do you want to make in a year, right? Like, that's the first thing
Yeah.
I tell myself, like, what would be ideal? Okay, so what does that look like on a monthly basis? Okay, what does that look like from a client perspective, right? Like, sure, I could have 100 clients, and make a lot of money, but I don't want 100 clients. I barely want 20. Now, I mean, I love my clients that I do have, but like from a nervous system's perspective, I cannot handle that. And from a time perspective, with kids and God knows what else that comes my way, it's not feasible. So then it's kind of piecing those two together and understanding, okay, what do I want the year to look like? And what does that
Yeah.
look like on a monthly basis? Like, what do I need to make that work? And then does that make sense for my what I'm providing them as far as labs and interpretations and sessions and chat and all the things? And then knowing that the price objection is has nothing to do with you. It might be how you're selling yourself. Like that could be an issue, but as long as it's priced within, standard market price, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything usually to do
Yeah.
with them. And if you're so scared to charge what you're worth, then you might get clients who do not see the value in what
Yeah.
you provide.
Yeah. I agree 100%. The way I figured it out and like I had backed way off on kind of like I'm adding more value back to my packages with like still assuming that like okay, my max load is like 30 clients at a time. And what that looks, I mean, that looks really great for if I have 30 clients, like it looks really great for me financially and I feel really good about that. But I am adding some value back and giving people more like one-on-one time with me just because I was finding like I think people need it.
Yes,
So sometimes it is just like trial and error with that too. But
totally.
yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, not, I see some of these people charging like, I mean, just obscene amounts. And yeah, I feel some kind of way about that. And I'm very like pro capitalism, people making money and like charging their worth and all of that stuff. And I just there are some people that I look at and I go, you are not doing neurosurgery for people. Like you need to calm down. And then I look at other people and I'm like, you are definitely undercharging for what you are giving to people. So I think there's a sweet spot with pricing with both. And yeah, I mean, and that's going to change. Like I drastically drastically changed what I was offering because and I went from the session based to the time based like at the same time. And it was definitely a move in the right direction, but things are changing for me for me now too after this week.
Yeah, I feel like I mean, I think one of the another don't that could come from that, and then we need to get the one that I cut you off from is like, don't
Mhm.
be stuck in your ways. Like, you
Yeah.
have to be willing to be flexible and adaptable because things will continue to change. And I think probably some of the best business owners are the ones who never gave up, who realize that like just because something didn't work doesn't mean that it's not going to work. It just might need change. You might need help or support with it. You might need to sell it a different way or package it a different way, or you might need to increase your education or experience, right, to support it. So,
Yeah.
um,
And sometimes it is just like the person on the other end needs to adjust their expectations. I was voice memoing with someone who she was talking about, you know, she pays for a macro coach and I just have a lot of feelings about macro coaches anymore. And
the
she was like, you know,
stress I
she was
just
asking me
had.
about yeah, she was asking me about the price of my services and you know, I told her, you know, what my 6-month package looks like, cost and whatever and she was like, "Oh, I pay like $175 for my coach now." And I'm like, yeah, your coach literally puts a bunch of macros on a page for you. Like this is not even anywhere close to what I do. And so I literally, I was like, you need to adjust your expectations of what you're going to pay for someone who has like the qualifications that I do. And I didn't mean that like in a egotistical way, but like I'm not putting macros on a piece of paper for you.
Yes.
It's a very different service. We don't that we could do a whole episode on macro counting.
Add it to
Not
the
today.
list.
Not today. But what I was going to say earlier with it, and it kind of goes with like pricing and payment and things, is if you hire people to work in your business, I personally would not recommend offering them a percentage of anything. I would give them a flat rate because I personally think that offering a percentage makes people feel like they are more a partner in your business and not a contractor. Because at their job at whatever, you know, Kaiser Permanente or whatever big box hospital that they might work at, they don't get X percentage of what the even like let's just say like a 99214 visit, like a mid-grade visit for a physician assistant. Let's say it pays out like $400. Like they're not making 50, 60, 70% of that. They're making an hourly rate based off of a salary, right? And so I think it creates a lot of misconception.
That's a whole nother discussion.
Yes. Yes. I think that that is can be very problematic potentially.
Yeah.
So, that was my sidebar that I had thought of that I felt was important for people to know if they're hiring people. I don't know if people are hiring people out there.
Uh, TBD.
So,
I think another one, I mean, this one's obvious to us, is to not isolate yourself. That's why we formed the collaborative because it's so easy to it's so easy to gaslight yourself, especially when you're working by yourself. And like, in many ways, right? Like, whether it comes down to like the clinical side of it, of like, not knowing the best answer for somebody or best resource for someone, but it also comes down to the business stuff, right? Like, it's helpful, especially in the collaborative, when like I'll ask a question, you'll ask a question, someone else will like, what are you guys doing with this? What have you guys seen successful with this? And like, does it mean you're going to take everything and like do it exactly as someone else did? No, but you're going to have discussion over it and conversation over it to learn from one another and to also just bounce ideas off of other people. Like before the collaborative and even still now, I would say like, even though I don't have coworkers, I am voice memoing, Marco Poloing, and on the collaborative a lot of my like between sessions and on my downtime, quote unquote, to discuss things with my friends and colleagues over clients, over business, over life as well, because that matters, right? Like you're also not a robot, you're a human. But I feel like it makes you such a better business owner and practitioner when you have other people, whether they're people you hire, like business managers or coaches or VAs, or just straight colleagues who are literally in the trenches with you. Because I remember when I started my business and I was still at the CrossFit gym and people would be like, oh, what do you do all day? Like, do you just sit at home and like eat whatever? And I'm like, no, like I am busy. And I think a lot of people too would be like, oh, well, you're,
Wouldn't it be amazing if like all we did was just sit here and people just signed on for services and we
yeah,
didn't have to
like
do anything
it
business
is
related? My
work,
God.
right? It looks different because I'm not getting a salary every 2 weeks, but it is a lot of work. And it's hard sometimes to have that discussion with people who don't get it and aren't in it. Nothing wrong with them, but they
Yeah.
don't get it. Whereas like when you
No.
find your people, it's so easy to be like, oh my God, I feel like I did nothing to, what did, we just had a mentor say, a mentee say that like, I feel like I did nothing and everything all at once today.
Everything.
And I
Yeah.
was like, welcome
Well,
to
welcome.
entrepreneurship, where you feel like you've accomplished absolutely nothing, but you have done so much in a day. But it's
Yeah.
hard because, like, at a normal corporate job, not good, not bad, is that you clock in, clock out, and you get paid no matter if you do everything or nothing, whether you go to 10 meetings or no
Right.
meetings. Whereas for us, it's, if we can do all the things, doesn't mean we're going to get paid directly from those
Right.
things. But we do a lot of things. We are tech support, we are HR, we are like our own therapist sometimes.
My God. Yeah. God, I can't even tell you like the amount of shit that I've done in the past 2 weeks moving everything from Teachable to Thrivecart
And
because
like who you can't
if you,
explain that to people who don't get it because they're just like,
no,
okay, what's the
no,
big deal?
what's the big deal? Oh,
Let me
well,
tell
I
you.
just like, I only had to like rewrite all of my email sequences, change all of the link. I mean, like Jess is doing a lot of this for me.
Yeah, but you have to
But
oversee
like,
it and yeah.
yeah, and like write all the things and do all the things and make all of the like, I'm not paying someone to create like the landing pages and it's me. And so, I mean, that's like best of luck to people is best of luck.
But this is why
Best of
isolating
luck.
yourself can make it so much harder. I remember when I
It
started my
yes.
business back in 2014, and I didn't know anyone who owned their own business. And it was incredibly isolating. And my husband would come home, then boyfriend, he'd be like, well, what'd you do today? And I'm like, how do I tell you that I
You.
just spent 8 hours trying to launch a website? Like it almost felt silly because I'm like, I want to show myself and prove myself. And yet I literally spent 8 hours trying to launch a website. It was before I knew that I could hire someone to do that. Like, it's you learn, but eventually I got really scrappy and I reached out to other people in it with me because I'm like, I have so many questions. And yeah, you can
Yeah.
Google, yeah, you can YouTube, and now there's AI, which was not 10 years ago.
Oh
But
God.
like sometimes you
Yeah.
just need to talk to a human and like just hash it out or like have them give you insight, whether it's what they've done that worked or what they're hearing you say and be like, like doesn't sound like you, like maybe this instead, or I read this book or listened to this podcast, and having those people surrounding you makes everything so much easier.
I agree 100%. And most of my closest friends are they're all business
Same,
owners.
because like we get it, like we're in it together. And I think so many people think that like, oh, well, you own your own business, so you're more flexible. So I can't tell how many people in the past have been like, oh, I have the day off. Do you want to hang out? And I'm like, what exactly do you think I'm doing all day? But I do end up spending a lot of time on voice memos and Marco Polos and with my friends who are also business owners. Cause like I don't have
Yeah.
the water cooler, I don't have the lunchroom, I don't have, like so that's kind of where that we're filling the gap there. And that's made entrepreneurship so much more enjoyable to have other people to be in it with.
Yeah. I don't have more things to say about that besides join the collaborative. Do you?
No, no.
Always listen, I'm gonna throw it out there. I keep dropping things because I'm fidgety over here. The last thing that I think we have written down is making exceptions to your business functionings. So, like giving that person, if you have a 6 month package and they don't want to commit to the offerings that you have and you're not done with them, being like, oh, I'll just give them one more month, or I'll just do one more session for free because they haven't seen the results they wanted, or I'll just do this because it's for a friend, or like you have offerings for a reason. And I'm not even saying that all of your offerings have to be public facing. Like I do have some lower ticket items that I have available if they're appropriate for people. And it's not that I just want to rack people into like my 6 month program. It's that most people need it. Like most people are coming to see me with an MSQ from like 70 and up. That's very different than the person who's like has an MSQ of 9 and just like really wants to fine tune some things. Those are very different people. So, but I think making exceptions is a really good way to create resentment. And it's also not going to get people great outcomes. Like I think when I first started my business, maybe for a month I offered people one-off sessions, and I quickly said no to that. Like, I mean, I think I maybe did 3 of them. Like, it was so early on when I was like, this is not the way to go. People are not going to see the results. So,
Oh, that's how I used to do it too, back in the day. And I think then too, it's easy to say, well, I just want to help somebody, right? And so to help them, I'll give them to at a lower cost. I've done that. I did that so many times early on. This is
I did.
10 years ago. And
Yeah.
but people weren't doing packages. Like it was very much like people were
Yeah.
used to the insurance model. And I find the problem with that too is that their expectations become that, right? Like so
Oh, yeah.
if you tell the person, I can help you with this set package and I can give you almost like a guide of how that we're going to work together, people feel more confident and comfortable because they feel like there's a plan as opposed to like, okay, yeah, like come to one session and then we'll see, and then we'll do another session and we'll see. And some, I think in some businesses that makes sense. Like I know with PTs, a lot of times that makes more sense based on progress. But for a lot of the work that we're doing with functional labs, like you cannot get the results in 1 to 2
No,
sessions. We're not going to
there's
see
no
the
way.
change. And to set that expectation, now this person just thinks like, okay, well, cool, I did one session. Like now what? What's next? And if you keep telling them like, okay, one more session, like they don't have that like urgency and that need. It
Correct.
kind of goes back to your discussion about like session versus time based. And so, yeah, I can't remember the last time I don't, it's probably been 8+ years since I offered a one off session because it's just, I'm not going to see results. And like you said, it would make me build resentment because I'd be like, God, if this person just signed up for a package, they would just
Yeah.
see results. And now, like, I'm frustrated when they hop on the call, which isn't fair to me or to them.
Correct. What do we think? Anything else that people shouldn't be doing in their business?
I think one thing too, and I think social media has made this harder, it's okay to gain inspiration from other people, but it's not okay to copy other people. Don't copy other people because it won't come off as authentic anyway.
Mm-mm.
So even if you see someone doing something really well, like it's okay to be like, oh, I love their package. I'm going to make a similar package.
Mm-hmm.
It's not okay to say, wow, like they're doing this. I'm going to do exactly this with the same message, the
Mm-hmm.
same verbiage, the same everything. It's not going to land. Even if it looks
Yes.
successful for them, it's probably not going to be successful for you. So use people as inspiration and use what they're doing well as your guide.
Mm-hmm.
And also remember that like people are paying to work with you. And so it
You.
will come across. And believe me, we can sniff it out.
Yeah, for sure. We don't need to reinvent the wheel either, which I think is what
No.
you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, when I was revamping things and I just had dropped something in the collaborative, like, hey, are you guys including, I'm going to be going to including blood work and GI maps in my packaging now. So, like, every time someone signs on with me, they're going to get those 2 things included in the price. And I also am adding some more sessions. And, like, I know we've talked about like number of sessions and one-on-one time, but like the work we do is slightly different. Like, you're so much more like nutrition focused, and because you're a dietitian and doing like specific counseling around food, where like I will give general guidelines for things like that, like, hey, I think you're really under eating, or like maybe we can eat more whole foods or more fiber for digestion and things. But my whole point is like you don't have to reinvent the wheel, and I think that's something to be said. Like, I also, for the business owners out there, one thing I've been doing is really watching what's working for other people on social media, and like the reels that they make or the things that they do, and like just kind of saving those things and like not copying exactly what they do. Like, I even like finding like people who don't do exactly what I do, but maybe they're adjacent. They're a physical therapist or a dentist, and I'm like, oh, I like that idea of like the message that they're sending. How can I spin that for myself, kind of thing? And that has been, if you're in a social media rut, like that's been really helpful for me, where like I'm not copying them, but I'm like, oh, I like what they did and I like that message. And maybe they're talking about like not using fluoride or doing jumping jacks or whatever.
Yes.
And like, how can I create that message for myself? Yada yada yada. So
Totally. I think that's all I got. I mean, there's probably more, but I think those are some great
I know.
don'ts for people in their business.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just looking over our notes here. I don't see anything else. But I mean, we have another meeting in an hour, so like I'll see you again.
I mean, run your own business and you get to hang out with your besties all day.
That's all we do. We don't ever do any work or ask ourselves where did the day go at the end of the
Every
day.
day, every week.
Every
Like, how
day.
was it
All
November? coming up. Who knows?
Dude, I don't know, but can we just say real quick before we end, like we have some dope ass fucking humans coming to talk to the collaborative next
We
year,
do. We really do.
and we still have some pending
We
ones.
have some
So
great pending ones. We just have to get them on the books. So
yeah, I don't think this will come out
I have
in
no
the
idea.
next week, but I have no idea where we are. Next month we have Emily, one of our members. She's a really amazing OBGYN microsurgery PA. She's going to be talking about all things like
Can't wait.
fibroids and endometriosis. It's going to be so great. Like she works for a really amazing private practice. She doesn't work for a big hospital. They do really, really the Innovative GYN Center. They do really amazing things in the DC area for endometriosis and for women's care. And then we have Carrie Jones coming to talk about hormone replacement. So these things are all recorded. So like even though these things are probably already happened by the time people are listening, like you can always catch the replay. We don't like just give them to people live.
Yes.
And then in December, you're doing a talk on minerals,
Yes.
right?
Sure
And
am.
then in January, we have Michelle Shapiro coming to talk about histamine. Kat Height, I think that's how you say her last name. I probably am butchering it, but she's coming to talk about functional genetics, which is
We have,
really
yeah, there's
cool.
so many cool things
I
coming out.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Stacey Whitman is coming to talk about airway dentistry. My friend Lindsay is an amazing, amazing therapist, and she's coming to talk about how beliefs shape your nervous system and your health. So, I mean, it's just we have so many cool events. That's just like the next like 2.5 months.
Not to mention the
And
dope
then
humans who are in there that you get to
yeah,
learn and
yeah.
collaborate with too. So
Yeah, it's going to be so good. So if you want to join us, unconventionalcollaborative.com.
this is a do for your business.
Yes, 100%. We don't keep you. If you hate it, you can leave. Like we don't hold
Yes.
anybody. There's no
Doors open.
contracts. Like you can come, and if
Come and
you're like
go.
it's not for you, it's not for you. But we will say our systems business person that I don't even know what to label AI Jess, but she said we had a really amazing retention rate. So people come and they stay. So come try it out, unconventionalcollaborative.com, and we will see you next week.
Bye.